Hello, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, interesting day today. It is well, depends on where you are in the world, but it's very close to the new moon and solar eclipse. I am in the southern hemisphere in Australia, so we don't get to see it. However, the energy will still go through the Earth and planet, of course. So, this one's going to be an interesting one. I thought it may pertain to the actual eclipse, but I got like an energy of this is a reading from your spirit guides to you. So this is a message from your spirit guides. The energy of your spirit guides will be in this. It almost came through as like a council. So maybe like the leaders of the spirit guides. I don't know. That's probably as best as I can kind of like figure it out in my head. However, regardless, this is a message for you. Take it as you will. All right, let's pick the cards. Okay. Take part 1, 2. Oh, also when I was shuffling some cards, a card popped out and it had spirit guides on it, so it confirmed that that was the right choice of reading. I was keen to do like a solar eclipse type reading. However, I'd rather go with exactly what the cards want me to go with. So, all right, here are your 3 piles. Let's take a look. For pile 1, you have Ascended Master Yogananda with Rhodonite, Empowered Service. Okay. For pile number 2, upside down, you have Ascended Master Helios and Citrine with Your Time to Shine. Also the numbers here, 333, 333. And for pile number 3, you have Angel Amitiel with Blue Obsidian, Revelation. Crystal number is 444. Okay, so these will be your 3 piles for today. Take your time. Down below in the description, you'll be able to jump straight to your video, but take your time selecting which message or which card really calls to you, or which cards if you want to watch multiple, of course. Just as a little hint, I always put the readings on speed 1.25 because, while you're in the message and flowing with it, it's you're more kind of like in the vibe, right? It's not like rushed or anything, but sometimes if you have less time on your hands, you might want to speed up the message. So put it on 1.25, it just gets the message out a little bit quicker. However, I'll leave you now to pick your pile. So I'll see you in your reading. Hello, hello, welcome to your reading, pile 1. So you've chosen Ascended Master Yogananda. If you don't know who Yogananda is, then you probably haven't read memoirs of a yogi. That's probably, I haven't read it myself, but I know a lot of people who have, and they speak really highly of it. He was someone who came over from India probably around, I'm not too sure, but around the Depression, right, in the US. Did I say he came over to India? So he came over from India to the United States and pretty much introduced yoga into the West. And you could imagine back then, like even when I remember growing up, from what I remember in the 90s, it weren't like yoga was coming through, but it wasn't really predominant, right? It wasn't really a big thing. So, good things take time. And now I think a lot of people do mindfulness practices, meditation, whether they are CEOs or you know, whatever, any kind of work, you can see the benefit. They have scientific proof and that kind of thing with meditation and mindfulness practices, all that kind of stuff. Anywho, before I get too far off, and also rhodonite, I actually have a little piece of rhodonite here as well. This little point kind of looks like crystal point. I guess that's what it's called, right? The message on the card is empowered service. So it's an interesting one because when I was talking about the story, it kind of made me feel like sometimes the things you put effort into don't always fruit straight away. And just like with, you know, yoga being introduced, it took a long time to catch on, right? It may not have where he was more influential or present, but it's just that beginning, that kind of like introduction. And sometimes it takes lifetimes to achieve a particular goal, if that's like your road, your path. However, of course, on a like in this one lifetime kind of scale, it's kind of the 7 of Pentacles. You know, what you reap, what you sow, putting the work in, doing the work to get the benefits in the future. So, empowered service. I do like the name of empowered service. It just feels like doing something not because you want to gain something. This is to really assist. And it's in a way that empowers you, so like utilizing your skills, right? Say if you were a reader as well, going to, you know, if you're invited to like a retirement home to do readings or something, and really that can be a double benefit, right? It's that interaction for you, it's also the interaction for the people, and you know, and you can weave in their card readings if they were interested or not, but maybe they just want to have a conversation, which is just as empowering, right? It's not about you getting anything exactly, but you do get something because it is empowering you or shining a light on something that you want to share and give to the world. So interesting start. Kind of like a big energy feeling with this card. Okay. I will have to read Memoirs of a Yogi at some point. Also, let me know below how you're feeling with the eclipse, anything coming through for you. I was getting a lot of energy of potential cycles repeating, coming back up. Not necessarily repeating like you'll be stuck in the same cycle, but more like coming up to be reviewed, coming up into your presence, something that was shut away, coming back in, maybe an ex turning back up or something like that. That was just the general message that I was kind of feeling with it. But this is not part of your reading, it's just the energy, let's say. I'm gonna try to squeeze as many cards as I can. With this eclipse. Oh, okay. There's a lot of old songs popping up on my playlist recently. While I was shuffling before stream, for the readings, it was popping up with an old song from New Zealand. They're called the Mutton Birds, and it was Dominion Road. And now what's playing is Edison's Lighthouse, Love Grows, which is probably more well known than the little New Zealand band, but it's just interesting. It's a lot of, that's why I feel like it's still true, like that repeating of old things, something coming up that can be finalized or needs to be addressed, right? Okay, so there are the tarot. All right, let's get into your reading pile number 1. So your first card is Gaia, Resilient Spirit. Really does play into this energy of the empowered service. Why do I say that? This was a slow kind of like, our goal was very clear, and going out there and introducing something to people who maybe resistant or like very unfamiliar with this kind of like figure, right? Yogananda must have looked kind of like completely out of place in those days in the United States. So anyway, Resilient Spirit says here, Earth connection, stay rooted to trust and faith. Keep going with what you are doing. Keep going with your goals, what feels correct to you. Keep going with that. Keep that in the back of your mind, or keep that in the forefront of your mind even. Sometimes we need to put things on hold while we deal with other things, right? Of course. Definitely not just like all or nothing with this, but this is like, just because you put something on hold doesn't mean it's dead in the water. Sometimes it will take a year, 10 years, 20 years, and then you'll pick it back up. And don't feel like that's a failure, because you're on the right path. You just need to trust and believe that this is correct for you. Connecting with Earth as well, connecting with people. Again, this is about the environment. This is about you connecting with others. When I say environment, I mean not just like, ecology. I mean like interactions with humans and work and all sorts of stuff. Okay, so you've also got Seraphim Gateway. This is voice activation, angelic attunement, and divine support. Yeah, your guides are on your side with this. I was thinking before I pulled some of the cards, I think a lot of people's angel guides are coming through with messages too. Angel guides will generally stay pretty far in the background unless they really need to come through, or unless you really connect with them and invite them through, because they're all about free will and making sure that they're not intruding on your free will. Speaking of, you've also got cherubs. Cherub and Metatron's Cube, talking about another angelic guide. You probably picked the angel deck, even though there was another card which had an angel on it, right? So this is angel guides, love harmony. I like that for you. This is all about bringing peace and humanity to the world, and keeping that in your heart when you make decisions or say something. Remember, children are listening, adults are listening, people are listening. What you say and what you resonate means something, especially with this voice activation. This is activating your voice to speak your truth, so speak your truth, because when it's activated, what you say really is being heard and being felt. So how you speak to yourself is like, be kind to yourself, in other words, is what I'm trying to say. Be kind to others as well. Of course, keep your your laurels or whatever you want to say with that, but this is really, really, really about being aware and being empowered by what you do and what you say. You can really make shifts and changes that you want to see in this moment. Okay. Ooh. You have the 10th house yet again. This is talking about career, public life, reputation, and it's highlighting Capricorn, which is the pragmatic one, right? The earthly one, getting more earth energy, but you're getting like earth energy and angelic. I don't think this is angelic as in going all the way up to the highest realm. You may have already got enough information from higher up to be able to really ground it into this body, this human lifetime. So anyway, career, public life, and reputation. Who do you want to be known for? Are you living a life that aligns with your beliefs and with what makes sense to you? Those are the kind of questions. And if you are, keep going with that. Know that you are on the path which feels correct. It may not always pop up in a way that feels perfect and good and right sometimes, but if you're making decisions that are taking into consideration your beliefs, other people's kind of like free will, then continue with that. If you're not interrupting people's free will or choices and decisions that they have to make trying to enforce your opinion on them, then that's where it needs to be maybe reviewed. Otherwise, you know, keep going with this, because in time you will see the shifts and change. It's just not going to happen overnight though, which is fine. Yeah, North Node, where you're going, your destiny purpose. You are living your purpose and heading towards those goals. The activation, again, this isn't just your voice. This is like a big activation. This could be with this eclipse coming through. Even if you're watching this in the future, the eclipse, the energy, I would say, of maybe some of the planets that are shifting into different signs and that kind of thing may resonate with you. I've been getting messages of people, and including myself, feeling like more anxious the last month or something like that, or more emotional or depressed, or like just feeling a lot of energy coming through. That's a moment to ground yourself. If you stay high, you're going to be washed away with the like current. If you ground yourself, you'll be anchored, and then you can start to review and see why these things are coming through. If that relates to anything you've been feeling lately, just know you're not alone. And this is probably why I wash it away, right? Pisces, psychic, intuitive, and dreamy. So really lovely card to come through, but this is you know, there's a lot of planets just in the last couple of days anyway that probably still will be when you're watching this or whenever this is uploaded. But there's quite a few planets that are in Pisces at the moment, and even some of the outer planets, the dwarf planets and comets, I guess they call them, or asteroids is probably a better word. But this is about tapping into your intuition, planning for the future, making the dreams. This can also be in its shadow, you know, addictions, detaching from reality. If you feel like you're starting to detach, this is a time to ground that energy and know that you are on a course of your purpose. Don't give up. I'm going to pull this one as well. Yeah, attract. It says, like the moon and the oceans, you attract good things into your life. So if you're sending out good energy, you're going to radiate that, and it's going to help others, and also it's going to reflect back on you, right? If you have an argument with someone and you're heated and you're really pointed about getting your point across, they're going to be very pointed about getting their point across, right? It just reflects back on you. Your interaction to how you treat people is a reflection of you, not of them all the time. So just pay some mind to that as well, because you're being guided, but you're also being observed. I don't know how that works, but that's just what's coming through. All right, look, see here, he's facing the mirrors. He's got a wand. So the fives can be kind of complicated. This does talk about conflicts. It also doesn't talk about conflicts. It talks about just like racing for a particular goal. There's no rush here. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to spark a lot of fires to get where you need to be. Take it slowly. Don't be afraid of the reflection. Don't be afraid of reviewing or self-reflection, especially. This is absolutely okay, especially when it comes to like who you are and where you're going, what kind of job you're doing. You might be like a lawyer or something, but if something kind of shifts and changes, maybe you're meant to like continue being a lawyer, but work with like I don't know, people who really need legal advice or something like that, volunteering. You know, you chose the empowered service. Service is to others, doesn't have to be volunteering, but you know, it's got to be in a way that feels right to you. So that's kind of coming through. Okay. You also have the Ten of Pentacles. I really like this for you. Jophiel coming out as well. So nice high energy, pride in the family tree. I do like this. This is about potentially getting more of what you need. This can be about abundance, but family. Also knowing what real success is, right? We are told what success is in like school. It's like the grades that you get, right? Someone who's getting A's is better than someone who's getting C's. Potentially that's true, but if they have completely different goals in life and that kind of thing, you know, whatever you're doing or whatever kind of like, it's funny because it's coming up with reputation, but whatever reputation you feel you have to have should come from what you feel is right, not from what society or the world tell you. And you know, your family is an extension of of like, you know, the past, some of the potential pains, but also some of the potential learnings, right? The people that go through a lot of challenges and come out better for it on the other side are far more resilient than people that don't go through a lot of challenges. And I say that loosely because this is Earth. Everyone goes through challenges. This isn't simple. Even just coming here is like a big deal. And I think your guides really want to say, like, you know, they're more in awe of you than you probably are of them coming here. So take that with like a pride as well. You have the Ace of Air, so that's the Ace of Swords traditionally. There is this little shift here. There is some kind of shift in how your interactions will start to be. You might start paying heed to this message and start to like shift some of the way you speak and feel about yourself, the way you talk and think and feel towards others, right? And maybe you have been doing this for a long time. I feel like you're going to start seeing that now and seeing the benefits of the efforts you put in. This like idea of things taking time and being slow isn't a bad thing. You're going to, it's not like you'll see you know, your situation will stay the same as it is today and then in 8 years it shifts. It's more like every day things start improving and changing and you don't notice it too much, but you will feel it if you look back, right? Once you're in the future. You might even know that now. If you look back, how do you feel about how far you've come personally and also potentially with the people in your life, your work colleagues, how you interact with people, your family? This definitely is the energy of coming back around, like solar return or, you know, what is it? Saturn return, those kind of things, those planetary things. This is kind of like a return of something. I have no idea what, but it does feel like this is a time for potentially something that was in the shadow to be brought back into the light. There's purpose and reason for it though with the North Node. Yeah, I did talk about this before. You're finishing off with the Nine of Swords with unfounded fear. This is worry and stress and staying up at night, late at night. If you've been doing this, you know, hands up, because I've been not being able to sleep very well. We've got neighbors building a new house next door, and while they can't start before a certain time, they still the workers, I mean, I have no problem with them, they're all fine, but like they'll start coming in 2 hours before then and not doing too much stuff that's loud, but they're doing stuff and it's still loud, so just not as loud as it gets later in the day. However, yeah, this is really coming through with how you're feeling and what's going on in your mind. Don't let ego, don't let fear dictate what you're doing and who you are. You do that. You decide who you are. Your family, your friends, the past doesn't decide who you are. You decide who you are. You decide how you respond in every situation, every single situation, every single situation. So, you know, take heed of that and be mindful of where your energy is, especially with these like air and fire energies. Like, you know, they're very high up, they're very like shifting and moving. So sometimes we need that shift and move, but if it feels too out of body, then make sure you come back and ground. Ask your angel guides, I would say, with these two cards coming through. It's all about finding balance, and what your balance is may be different to others, and that's fine. And maybe your balance tomorrow is different to what it was 2 weeks ago, and that's fine. This is a shifting and moving game, not a linear path. Yeah, it's interesting. The song playing it right now is Sheryl Crow's "If It Makes You Happy." You know, if it makes you happy, why are you so sad? Um, it's an interesting one, right? Because then it gets us to think, well, then is this actually making me happy? Is this career or person or path or interaction or event really making me happy? It was my goal 5 years ago, and now I've reached it. Is it still the same? Is it still the same? This is all okay. You're here at the moment. Your guides are really coming through with like, you're here to start to review your life plan or check it out. You know, I don't know how you'll do that in physical, but you know, kind of like going to the Akashic records, these kind of readings are getting you to start thinking, and it's absolutely okay. You haven't wasted your time doing anything. You know how people sometimes go, well, I've wasted like 5 years with this person, so then what? Are they going to stay another 5 years in their head about how much time they've wasted? Now they've wasted 10 years, you know, in their head, but they haven't wasted any time. They've been learning while they're in that connection. They've been learning afterwards while they're by themselves, how their mind works and what they expect from a partner and what they expect from themselves, you know, all that kind of stuff. Boundaries, all. It's all learning. Every single interaction is learning. Okay, sorry, a bird just flew down. Oh, it's a kookaburra. That's interesting. Okay, there's not a lot of kookaburras around this area. But kookaburras in Australia, just because it's popped down and it's sitting on the ground, which is really rare. They're usually in trees or on fences, but hey, maybe they found something on the ground. Very interesting. You might want to look up spirit animal or totem animal for the kookaburra. Kookaburras are kind of like large kingfishers, let's say. They're related to kingfishers. They don't really I don't actually know too much about what they eat. I have seen one eat a sugar glider though, a baby sugar glider, which was kind of sad, but also, you know, nature. But yeah, they're very big and they have a distinct kind of like call. So anyway, interesting that a kookaburra has popped up in your reading. That is interesting. So it's quite late here too for them to pop around. That is just random, but I wanted to pop that in here, and it does remind me of connecting with nature. So if you want to go outside, bare feet on the ground, connect with the earth, bring in a new day of love, like, you know, start your day on high spirits. If you wake up feeling just as anxious as you did then when you slept, you know, give yourself a moment to breathe. Inhale, exhale, take in that energy and shift your mindset to, you know, today is going to be a day where I'm able to be guided towards love, towards purpose, towards meaning, and radiate that energy out towards the people around me. Okay. Very, very deep message. Pisces kind of makes it go deep into, and Capricorn is that pragmatic, even though it's not Capricorn necessarily, it's the 10th house, which I'm going to say is ruled by Capricorn. But it's about who you are and how you're seen. And what do you want to make of this particular moment, this particular life, that kind of thing. Okay, hopefully this has helped you today, pile number 1. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. This was really, really nice. I love the angelic kind of energy coming through with these 2 cards. There's not a lot of, there's like, I think 2 angel cards in this deck, and there's just 1 in this one. So that really popped out today for you. Anyway, thank you so much. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, hello, welcome to your reading pile number 2. So, what a nice card you've picked today. For some reason, I was getting emotional while shuffling your cards, and it just felt like, even though this is like your time to shine, right? Which is, I feel like that's probably why it's emotional, because it's like, maybe in the past you didn't feel like you could, or you've been through something, some kind of like melancholy's coming up. I would say ensure that you don't stay in the past. What is done is done. You know, it's your time to really come through and showcase yourself. You're here to really be seen. There's like an energy of that coming through with this reading. But you've picked Ascended Master Helios and Citrine. Citrine is about having faith, courage. How do you get that? You have to go through the challenges to gain the knowledge, the wisdom, right? The growth, the real challenges. There's a lot of stuff where people, you know, go through different things and say they've gone through many different things. That energy might be coming back up, and it's not to hurt you. It's really to empower you and to remind you of who you are. So very nice card coming through. I don't know why there was emotions with it, but that's just how it feels, and sometimes that's what happens. I can't, you know, I can't do anything about it. It's just how it comes through. All right, so you're getting a message from your guides too. I didn't even say that. I just had to say exactly what I was feeling while shuffling your cards because I was like, oh, why am I getting emotional about this? Look. We all know life isn't easy, but we all know that we grow from all the challenges that we go through. Big, small, you know, people take different challenges at different times, like, you know, going through similar things, but take it very differently, and you process things how you process it. You're not being asked to change the way you do anything. You're just here to really come back to who you are and what you're about, and make sure that what you're sending out there is exactly what you feel is correct. Your guides just want you to be you, essentially, the real you. Not the masked you, not the corporate you, the you. Okay, can I get a card, please? Thank you. Any other way I could word it is like if you were a, you know, reflecting on an old relationship that didn't work out, or something like that, as like an example, and it's just like that's kind of like playing around in your mind, and it can be kind of like, it can make you happy and sad, but you know, things don't always have to mean like if you're sad that means it's bad, and if you're happy that means it's good. Sometimes it's just all sorts of emotions, right? It's a mixture. Yeah, I don't think you have to try with this. You just do. You just be. You just do. You just move forward. You never know how the future is going to be. It's also like a message. You never know. So focus on you. That's all I want to say. It's just like remain focusing on your goals, your dreams, what you want out of life. Don't live for the past. Don't even live for the future. Live for the now. Take your moments, take your chances. All that kind of energy just keeps coming through. Your guides are emotional. I don't think they're actually like emotional, but they are sending through a lot of waves of emotions. Well, that's the energy around you. All right, get into the reading. Yeah, look at that higher heart activation. This makes a lot of sense. Dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. Yeah, you're in a good place now. Or you're heading towards those goals, which I guess honor yourself. You're really like either looking for this high heart energy, or you found it, you know, and don't let the past derail you. You're just here to be you, and send this like high vibe, loving, positive energy out to the world. This is unconditional love. This is like real, like when I say unconditional, there's no conditions, right? No conditions. If you look at it through humanity, it might be like, oh yeah, of course I radiate that, and then think about people that hurt other people, and it's like, I don't give them love. But you know, I always say, I mean, I'm not saying that it's easy, just do it. I mean, like, so it is a challenge, and it's also like an opportunity to really see how we think and feel about things in our life. Look, I'm not saying you have to change your mind with anything or anything like that, but this is definitely about growth and expression, I feel, so far. Wow, such a bright card next to this is almost like the central sun card as well. But you've got Sanat Kumara, and if you don't know, Sanat pops up in Hinduism. Vedic tradition, you know, belief system, religion. And Sanat is like, I always see Sanat as like one of the higher kind of like ascended masters or gods even, if you want to say, like a very, very, very like high vibe, high vibe guide. This says open channel. It says signs, codes, downloads, and sacred information. Yeah, you are a beacon, or you may attract all sorts of different people, right? You might even attract hurt people, and that can be a challenge. But you're here to really do the best you can from your heart space. If you make decisions and make choices from your heart, you'll never be astray. Like you'll never be led astray. You'll never be on the wrong side of like the, you know, when I say wrong side, I mean for you. You'll never be taking a path that doesn't feel right to you. You've got mentalist. Oh, very nice. Destiny knot. That's a lot. It says knowing, strong intuition, and destiny. Wow. So this definitely does pop in with this kind of energy as well. That connection, but also what you radiate. So what you know, see the vibrations coming out of here. The mentalist is someone who can kind of adapt to any situation, mold into any situation. Kind of reminds me of like water, you know, how water will channel one way and then flick in another way, and sometimes the bend will be like this, and then the bend kind of breaks and it stops snaking and goes more forward or straight. It just adapts to whatever it can freeze, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's how it's kind of feeling for you. You're able to adapt to many different situations. But this is also gaining balance, I feel, with this one, because this feels like harmony. For some reason, with next to this card, it feels like a balance with the things that go on in your head and also the things that go on with your heart. Finding balance with your head and your heart. Okay. You have retrograde, reversal, deceleration, and distance. I think we're also, at the moment anyway, if you're watching this around the time this gets published, we're in a Mercury retrograde and I think a Venus, right? Maybe not. But I can't remember exactly. But I think there is either like a Mars or a Venus retrograde. And I know for sure there's a Mercury one. Maybe the other ones I'm not too 100% sure with. No, I think it's Chiron. Do you know what? I'm probably just going to blurt out with anything. So go with whatever resonates. But what is a retrograde? In the shadow, I think we can talk about like a communication not coming out correctly, or our electronics not working, etc., etc. But in the light, it's a time to reflect. It's a time to slow down, because it's not about getting something new or doing something like making a quick change right now. It's about understanding why we're heading towards the goals we're heading towards. Does it still resonate with us? Does it still make sense? You also have the 9th house. I was going to say 4th house for some reason. This is highlighting Sagittarius. This is philosophy, spirituality, and knowledge. Yeah, this is like understanding, giving yourself some space to really check in with who you are and what you're radiating. This isn't about judging any kind of person, any kind of belief, any kind of job, right? This is really about you understanding who you are. Your guides want you to go into your heart space. I feel the higher heart always makes me think of like romance. Not necessarily, but it's that kind of higher version or the higher level of the heart space. And higher doesn't mean better. It's just like, I guess the occupation or the space, right? Like in the house, you might think one bedroom's better than the other, but you know, one's utilized for potentially sleeping, the other one's the office, right? It's just different parts of the house, and I think that's where that one's coming through from. And you also have transits. There's a lot of planets transiting this year, and maybe in the last couple of years or year. Like even ones that are very far out, they have like 1,000-year cycles or 700-year cycles. Some of those are transiting, which, you know, it doesn't happen often, and there's a few doing that. Recently, Pluto has transited, as you'll know. Pluto's transited into Aquarius this year. It's kind of like peaked in, peaked out last couple of years, and I think it peaks and peaks out again, but then it's in there for a decent amount of time. But anywho, this is about movement and change. And like I said here, it is about slowing down. There is change here, but it's not about making quick decisions. It's about understanding who we are and where we are right now in this moment. I do like how it's all loop-de-loop, right? Because the retrogrades the planets aren't actually going backwards. It's just our perception. It's like they get to a certain point and like, because we're going around this way, it looks like they're stopping, even though they're still going forward, right? I can't do it with my hands, but you know, the retrogrades aren't actually the planets going backwards. They're not moving backwards. That doesn't happen. It's from the Earth's perspective. So that can also play into this reading as well, about your perception of things and perception of self and who you are and how you feel. Take time to reflect. What did I say? There you go. Got the moon would take time to reflect. And also, if you are watching this around this time, we've got the new moon coming up in Aries, and it's also going to be an eclipse which touches down in North America a lot. I don't know exactly where it is. I know it cuts through, or like cut is probably not the right word, but like you know, blocks out the sun mostly, or a lot of, in Texas. So you have the Six of Pentacles, the Two of Swords, the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the King of Fire, or the King of Wands. Yeah, this is really important. You know, what you do comes back to you. The good you put out there comes back to you. This is your time to really showcase yourself. You don't need permission to be yourself, right? The King of Fire doesn't need permission to be who he is. Even here it says he's motivational, theatrical, ambitious, and inspiring. That's exactly what these are. This like sacred information is not for you to like hoard like a dragon, right? You're not having your own little like cache or whatever, your dragon stuff. You're here to share it. And that's exactly what the kings do. They radiate, right? They radiate out. The queens in general mull on the information. Not really mull on it, but attract it in. So they're drawing the energy in, so it can be turned into something that will help the collective or the future or yourself or the people around you, and or, you know, all that. And the kings are the ones that take that information and make it into action, so to speak. That's not exactly how it all works, but this is just how these cards are feeling. So what you do the good you do comes back to you. Don't be afraid of taking a new path. Don't be afraid of your opinions or your decisions that you make. If you feel like what you're doing honors yourself and the other people around you, and it doesn't impede on people's free will, more power to you. Go forward with that. This is also a balancing card, right? From the, you know, getting to the 6, you have to go through the 5. The 5 is feeling like left out, blocked, put into a position or a corner, and now it's like breaking out of that and learning a lot from that. It's like, I don't want people to go through that. Or, you know, sometimes when you read a book or go through a personal tragedy with a family member or self or something like that, it gets you on a road, like you just shift gear and you get onto a path that is like, I want to help people go through things I've been through, because I don't want people to feel like how I felt with no support or with lack of support or help. You know, I want to be there for them. You know, this is really, really, really about shining your like purpose, I want to say. This is a great one. This does talk about windfall, talks about abundance, wise counsel. This is your guides coming through with like, you know, you'll get exactly what you need. You'll step towards the goals. Sometimes it doesn't look like the path that you think it should look like, and that's okay. But if you get drawn to it and you get curious about it, why not take a moment to just review it? If you decide that that's not for you, that's okay. But what's the harm in reviewing or thinking or just reflecting on what you do, or what other options are out there? Because we're not really stuck in our ways as much as we can change them, right? We can actually shift some of those things that we want to shift if it's in lining with what feels right to us. But you don't have to go by what was told to you, what other people think about you. This isn't about them. This is about what do you want to express and shine out and radiate from this point onwards. essentially, from today and every day. What does that look like right now? Because tomorrow it may shift and change, and that's okay. It's not about getting things perfectly right or like in a particular way or in a particular structure. This is like, what can I do today to make my life, the world, whatever, a little bit better? That's really where this is coming through from. So you've got a lot of time to sit with this, the retrograde, the moon. This is a good time to slow down how you're internally feeling. You might have sparks of ambition and passion, and also melancholy, and there's like this like need to want to take charge, and there's also this need to like sit with it. So it's like a balance between masculine and feminine even. There's a lot going on here. They just want to highlight this section. It says pretending there's no problem. This is not the time to pretend. You chose this pile based off this card. You know what this card is. This is the one to radiate, to show, to actually be what they say they are or who they are. So you chose it. Sanat's coming through with like open channel. This is the time. This is the time to really get going, let's say. Get on the horse and go for it. It's a really nice reading, honestly, pile number 2. I don't have much else to say. Dropping shields is tough, especially, but it's so, I mean, it's hard anytime dropping shields, right? Because they sometimes feel like the things that keep us sane or the things that just want to keep us the same. And sometimes we want that. We want to just keep things the same. But do we really? Are we just sitting on comfortability? Yeah, you're getting a huge amount of information coming through, probably with the eclipse, especially if you're near it. Even if you're not, I feel like this new moon is coming through with a whole new path, a whole new destiny, let's say. It's probably one that's already in play, but this is something that is really going to be a big catalyst of a shift for you for the remainder of the year. So getting a bit hoarse, so I think that's probably it. Anyway, this is your reading pile number 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. I really appreciate it. Beautiful cards that have come through. This is about your story, I feel. Your philosophy, your kind of like your take on yourself and the world. So stepping into like the next dimension type thing. Anyway, thank you so much for letting me read for you. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next reading. Goodbye. Hello. Welcome to your reading pile 3. Wow, I didn't plan this, but I have like music playing in the background. It just helps me kind of focus, even though I think it would distract some, but each to their own. But the song playing right now is Angel of the Morning by Juice Newton. So it's funny because you've chosen Angel Amitiel and the Blue Obsidian. I've never even heard of Blue Obsidian. When I saw this, I was like, I need to get some, right? Blue Light Oracle, Blue Obsidian, why not? I do have Black Obsidian, but Blue Obsidian? I have to look this up. This one doesn't come out often. This is Revelation. What is Revelation? This is like comprehension, understanding, right? This is the truth. This is like truths coming out, truths being revealed. Whether this is in your society, within your country, or within your family, or within yourself, your truth coming out. It is kind of a challenging one for some reason, I feel. It's not bad, it's just getting a lot of angelic energy. So it's like, this is big energy. This is a good energy, but it's also a shift. And what they really want me to say is this is also an awakening. You may be going through some kind of awakening. Awakenings are all different for different people. There's Kundalini awakening. There's like just coming to an understanding or an appreciation of something, and it takes time for all the pieces to come through. So you may be getting a huge amount of downloads. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a wild ride. I've even heard of some people who channel and do all sorts of other stuff, having spiritual awakenings even after they're doing all those other things. So this, I feel like there's not just one stop shop that's exactly the same for everyone. Sometimes it's small incremental things that happen over many, many years. Sometimes it's big chunks and then huge huge shifts and then another chunk. You know, however it works is however it works, but I think you're going through some kind of awakening. I don't know if you wanted to hear that, but you chose the pile. And your guides are telling me to say it. They told me to say it before I even started, when I actually just picked up the card and started shuffling, because I shuffle before stream. Not before stream. I do that as well, but before the reading. I like to shuffle the cards between. I just cut it out because, no, it just takes up a lot of time and I'm already shuffling while I've got you here. Okay. If you don't know the song, it's like, just call me Angel of the Morning, baby. I don't know. Basically. Yeah. I haven't actually listened to the lyrics that heavily. It's an older song. Even before my time. Not that I'm that old, but still. A great song. I think you're getting 2, okay. Ooh, this is an interesting, it's gonna be an interesting reading for you, pile number 3. So remember, this is a message. Okay, this is a message from your guides. I feel like this one just really wants to come through. You're gonna have stacks of cards on top of each other. More cards doesn't necessarily mean better or worse, right? It's just what's coming through. Okay, these 2 might have already seen them. Okay, breathe. Right, so pile 3, your message from your guides. You have the Akashic Stargate. Interesting. If you know about the Akashic Records, that's usually the place where we have our books or our story of our history, the soul's journey, our life, not just this particular one. Our book will go into that library as well, but it's filled with many books of our lives and lives that we've observed, it feels like, as well. Ones that maybe weren't your past lives, but feel like a past life because you've kind of observed it and connected with it in some way. It's kind of like, the way it's feeling is like when a life kind of ends or has like a, gets to a certain point and finishes, it leaves like a resonant. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but like, I guess if a soul leaves the body, it leaves like a whole story, right? Because the life is finished and people still remember it and that kind of thing, but even over the time it kind of like leaves like a essence of a story. And so I think that's coming through as well in some way. They're kind of like an old path that wasn't necessarily one you lived incarnate, but it feels like one you've lived. So it's a soul that's really important to you. Anywho, this talks about aligned with purpose, crossroads, and no wrong path. So this is, I want to say, don't worry about this. While it's talking about high energy, especially with the revelation, just know that whatever path you pick will be correct for you, because all paths merge and weave and bend, and it's okay. You're not here to get everything 100% right. Otherwise, you would be sitting there trying to calculate everything. You're, every single move, every single word, every single step. You're here to live as well. You're here to just live and just be you. Very nice. You have Lady Nada coming through with heart, expanded heart. This could be a huge boon in your heart space. This could be like heart upgrades even. If it's not like a full-on awakening, it could be like a heart upgrade. If you've ever felt it, like it's weird. Like I've had it before where it's like, what are they doing? It kind of feels like they're doing metal work on your heart, like they're building in there. It's kind of weird. But it's not like your heart, your human anatomical heart. It's like your heart space, your kind of soul space, if you want to call it that. But anyway, this talks about openness, liberation, let yourself love and be loved. This is about freedom. This revelation is understanding what is and what isn't working in life. I'm trying to bring it back down to earth, but your guides are like, okay, cool, we'll go here. So it's like, you know, you're coming to an understanding of where you fit or what is correct for you. That's how it is. And it's like, okay, that's scary, but it's like also good because, you know, it's better to live in truth than in the shadows or in the darkness, and just be like, oh, we'll just see what happens. This is about, no, you're getting the information now, and this is the results, or this is the feedback, let's say. And it's about expanded heart. This is about growing your heart space. The upgrades aren't limiting, they're more freeing. And when we step out of ourselves, it can be scary, but it's like also exciting, right? This is a kind of a new step, a new journey. Could be in regards to relationships as well, because it is the heart space, but take it as it resonates. Yeah, you've got miracle work at literally next to the Akashic Records, the book. You might be coming to an understanding. You may have thought, look, whatever it is, it's okay. If you thought like a particular past life was yours and you've come to a term that it's not, that's okay as well. This is not about judgment. It's just about what helped you. Did it help when you were connecting with that particular spirit or soul? And maybe it's shifting now, like your certain guides are like being more prominent or less prominent. I don't really always feel like guides necessarily just completely go, but they definitely highlight. One will get more highlighted in this time, because it's like, okay, this is a time for focus on career. The career guide comes through, right? The heart guide steps back, doesn't disappear. It's just like, this is the path at the moment that's important to get to where you need to be, or to continue on the path of where you are. This talks about astral travel, costs, and secrets. Secrets being uncovered, which is interesting. I know it can be shadowy with this, but you have to appreciate the shadow before you can understand the blessing of the light, is really how it comes through. That which we put in shadow stays in shadow, that which we put in the light stays in the light, or can be worked on because we've put a light on it. But if it's like secrets, or if it's like things that we don't want to really look at, we can't advance beyond the physical without dealing with the physical, or dealing with the things from the past. So that may be where it's coming through, and I feel like this could be a lifetime thing, like a few lifetimes this is coming through for you. I know it sounds really big, but it just feels it, and you know, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. How it plays out on Earth, who knows? This is just how it feels like higher up, which feels very grand, but sometimes our guides can be a bit I wouldn't say dramatic, but they can be like, you know, they can talk about things that feel like, oh my gosh, but really it's like how it plays out on Earth is like you start to shift your job. You no longer feel called to that job, and you start to change. That's a big change, and it has shockwaves and ripples up there, and it's just like, it feels like it's time. Yes, so you've got opposition with resistance, polarity, and struggle. Yeah, this feels like a shift. Like, you know, the opposition is like opposing, right? They're on different sides. It's not like one side's better than the other. It's just like, this is no longer working. You don't need to struggle or have like build up walls around you. This is a time of freedom. You've got the third quarter moon with breakdown, readjustment, and forgiveness. Yep, this is going to be interesting. Does feel like it's going to be, you know, an interesting one. Can't say anything else. You've got waxing gibbous moon with nurturing, patience, and refinement. I like that for you as well, because it is showing the softer energy here as well. This like, take your time. These aren't quick moving cards. The revelation is like a comprehension, understanding, kind of similar to a judgment card. Heart expansion, growth, you know, growth sometimes does take action, but it also takes understanding. We can go do something physically, right? Do. But if we don't stop and appreciate what we've created and who we've become, then we're missing out on the lessons as well. There has to be a balance between the feminine, masculine ebb and flow of life. And you also have the solstice, so we've just switched over, or you know, wherever you are, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere, both have switched over to the Well, the equinox, actually. I don't know if that's the same as solstice. I could be wrong, but anywho. Switched over recently. So it says here, focus, transition, and amplification. Yeah, I think amplification is very true here. Certain things being revealed. This revelation is just like the main card. But yeah, this is a shift and a change. And at first it might be challenging, but it's just a time to really understand what this is all about and heal it or work through it or process it, but take your time. All right, you've got nucleus with the power within the stars is the power within you. It's showing macrocosm, you know, the microcosms, the stuff inside, and the macrocosms, like how big the planet is, or how like significant, not like, you know, how insignificant we are when we look out, but sometimes we, you know, if you go out to the solar system, you can't see yourself. We can't see the humanness. You go out to the galaxy, we can barely see our star. You move out into the outer stretches of the universe, we can barely see our solar system, our entire galaxy. Our galaxy is massive. Like, you know, it has millions of planets. I'm assuming. I can't remember. I don't know the exact thing, but I know that there's a lot of, I was going to say a shit ton, a lot of galaxies out there, and they have potential for life and planets and stars, but they all are kind of moving and dancing and weaving and kind of creating as they flow and go through their own kind of like death and rebirth. Even stars, even black holes eventually will die out. So that's how this is kind of coming through. I know that was very big and dramatic, but nucleus, don't count yourself short. Nucleus is like the power within a star, is the same vibration, energy, and also matter. Right, we're all created from, even if you go by the scientific kind of way of seeing things with the Big Bang, we're all created from that breath or that burst of energy outward. And it's still expanding, so it's still kind of like the explosion, let's say, is still occurring even millions, billions of years later. So you also have the morning star, and it says keep shining when others have quit. Yeah, you're gonna have to really focus on your own soul goal with this one. Things may start to shift and change. Just know though, you're on a path of growth, I would say, is just the only word that comes through. Okay, so we also have the Page of Swords, and I think this was the 10 of Wands. Yep, Page of Swords, 10 of Wands. Yep. I would say with this card, especially the 10 of Wands, like working too hard, too many hours, this is about, you know, what do I need help with? Do I feel supported? Am I letting people support me? Am I talking about the things that I need or want to shift or change, right? Am I talking about how I'm feeling? Because we can kind of be like, well, shouldn't you have just picked it up? But really, we can talk. We have a voice. We can say things as well. And I love sitting in this energy because this is new ideas and changes. And look at all these little butterflies. There's a lot of little changes, right? Sometimes a huge amount of little changes is just as grand or as powerful or even more powerful or you know, surprising as a little shift and change. But the page is also about logic, perception, about insightful. So a really smart person who loves challenges. And people, you know, challenges and puzzles and things like that are exciting. But if we've got too much going on, just be mindful of that, I would say you'll be fine. You'll be starting to let some of the things go and not worrying, not crying over spilt milk, or not worrying about past or you know, something to do with like feeling over encumbered or carrying too much. Especially if it's emotional, you want to talk that out, and if that's going to be a challenge, then hey, up to you. But I would say from what your guide's saying is like, go forward with this. You don't want to be stuck in things that aren't working for you. The struggle and resistant. Don't resist the change, it's happening anyway. Okay, you've got the Magician. This is giving you full power. Yeah, this is a very empowering reading. I didn't really harp on about how important this is, but you've got Raziel here, and you've also got the Book of like Secrets here with this Miracle Worker and the Grimoire. The Grimoire is like a book for sometimes for witches, right? but really, if you just like take out the kind of negative connotations with some of that, or even positive, depending on how you view things, I feel like it's a book of secrets, it's a book of knowledge, it's a book of spells, and here this is a book of secrets as well. So it says here, magic is alive in your life. What you need to be a success will manifest. If you believe it, you can do it. That's why I always say, like, if you say you can't do something, then that is true. If you say you can do something, then that is true. It's not just say, but also believe. Like, if you believe fully that this is like this or that is true, then this or that is true. If you believe fully that that can never happen, then that's absolutely true, because you've set that intention and you've set that reality. Go forward, my child. It's kind of how this is faring. It talks about passionate, confident, charismatic, and also restless. Events requiring immediate action, trust your instincts, stay focused, a passionate relationship. So this is about moving forward. And hey, Lady Nard is coming through, who is kind of like a very powerful being and ascended master-wise. Can't remember what planet she's supposed to be from. Sometimes comes up with like Venus, and so I think that's maybe where this is highlighting. I mean, it is about the heart chakra, but you've got this kind of passionate energy here in the feminine. This kind of feels like passionate energy in the masculine. So it is that balance that is coming through. But this feels like some kind of awakening. I'm going to be honest. It's going to head you towards your goals, but you have to deal with the issues at hand, or the conversations that need to be had at hand. I don't know how to word it, but you know what I mean. You have to have those conversations to get your truth out there. This is going to be an interesting time for you. You know, just keep coming back to this card though. There is no wrong path. If you want to stay in a particular setting or situation or connection, do that. If you do not, don't. That's it. That's as easy as it is. And we're humans, so we'll pick up on like, oh, but what about this? What about the job? What about my retirement? What about my health benefits? What about this? What about that? No. This is about making a decision based off your heart. I just want to get one more card for like this revelation energy. But yeah, Angel Amitiel is the angel of truth. So this is about knowing and figuring things out, and then knowing your true path. And if it's not on the path you're going, that can be, or it's like askew a little bit, that can be difficult to stomach, right? Anywho, let's have a look. Yeah, I think for some of you as well, we've got the Halls of Amenti Initiations. This is secrets revealed. You're getting a lot of secrets. Raziel's always hiding secrets. Secrets revealed, treasures uncovered, initiations. You have to go through the challenges to really appreciate this. This is like going through a shadow period or dark night of the soul in the past, right? Or maybe coming up. Don't be afraid of it. It's really just a way of understanding more parts of ourselves. So things might pop up, emotions might pop up, things from the past might pop up. Your guides are here with you, giving you this message. They wouldn't give you it if you weren't ready, if you weren't on your way to whatever this is about, this revelation, this shift and this change, this big shift and change. So I'm going to leave that there, because otherwise I feel like I'll stick with this pile and keep reading. But I feel like, you know, enough information is enough. You've had the pile that has the most cards, because there's a lot here to go through. But yeah, don't give up on your goals. Keep shining, keep being you, keep focusing on what's important. The secrets and the understanding will come in time. You are not here to be rushed. Okay, that's your reading. I'm going to leave that there. Thank you so much for letting me, Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I really appreciate it, and take care of yourself. Good luck with everything that's coming up in the future. It's going to be fine. You're going to be making so many like gallops towards particular goals. You'll be in a completely different place, and in like, you know, in a few months, years time, you'll look back and be like, wow. So really cool. Thank you again. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you next time.